I spend the night at my female friend's house after a party, but I wake up next to her brother in the same bed. Now my husband thinks I cheated and he wants a divorce. I am 35 and I went to party with my female friends 3 days ago. I got carried away and drank alcohol with them, and the party also had other males in them. The next day after partying, I woke up at my friend's house with her younger brother giving me food, which freaked me out. I'm 100% sure we didn't have sex, as my female friend reassured me that nothing happened between me and her brother, and that her and me had only slept together. After I reached my house, I told my husband, 33, about what had happened, because he had dropped several missed calls on my phone, and apparently after asking, one of my friends informed him that she saw me and a guy, my female friend's brother, leaving the party together. I tried to explain, but after calmly listening to me, he said he got it. He fed our 9-year daughter, kissed her on the cheek, and left the house to stay with his sister. He also blocked me on everything. I thought we could talk it over, so I decided to give him some space and visit him a week after, but today his sister came by and gave me the divorce papers with a note saying, "He's done with me." I do not know what I'm supposed to do. I do not want divorce at all. I love him dearly. Our daughter also loves him, and I told him I did not cheat, but he doesn't trust me, please. Any advice is helpful. I'm also Spanish, so please forgive my broken English. Edit. My husband doesn't drink alcohol, and before we got married, he got me to get rid of my alcohol addiction. He told me he doesn't want about me so I could drink 6 times a year, but strictly only when he was around to look out for me. Update number 1. 2 days after the first post. So, I went to sleep and it apparently blew up, and yes, after reading through it I have understood that it was a problem with my alcoholic addiction, and I admit I was wrong. So, people were asking more background and detail to the situation, so here. Before me and my husband started dating, I had a huge alcoholic addiction which I had got from my ex-girlfriend. She was my first relationship. I was gay, so usually when you are in a lesbian group, they drink a lot. This caused me to get addicted too. I'm not a heavy drinker and I just get easily drunk in just 2 shots. I met my sister-in-law there. She used to accompany her friends to drinking. She would rarely drink though. My husband would also follow along my sister-in-law to keep her safe. Yes, this was something he did to sister-in-law also. This is all 13 years ago. Back to now, I went through the replies on my post and decided to meet up with my sister-in-law so she could get me in contact with my husband, as I don't want the divorce to proceed. After we met up, she talked to me about what had happened and she called my husband. He told her to tell me to send our daughter to their house so he could meet our daughter and talk to her. He said he would talk to me about the divorce later. Around 10 a.m., I dropped my daughter at my sister-in-law's house and she just came back right now. After she came back, I asked my daughter what had happened. From what I could comprehend, when she went to my husband, he was wearing shades because of the crying, I think, and my husband called her to his room and explained to her about alcohol, took her to the market where he bought 3 alcohol bottles in front of her, and then back home, he proceeded to show himself flushing one of the bottles after opening it. He also made her smell the other 2 bottles after opening them and made her flush down the other 2 bottles, saying that she should do the same if she ever sees these alcohol bottles at homes or at any family gatherings, because they are poison and they break relationships. Then he talked to her about what had happened after he had left and asked her if she had any problems. The main thing then came up about him asking her that whether she was happy staying with me and whether she wanted Papa to stay together with Mommy or not. And I'm devastated to say this, but my daughter didn't give him a proper answer and she told him, "But Mommy did something bad, right?" I have no idea about what happened after this because my husband told her not to tell me. My husband had unblocked my number and he called me telling me to meet him regarding our divorce papers, and honestly, I broke down and tried to explain everything to him again and he just kept on saying fine. He said he would rather see through my actions and not my words. I have no idea about what to tell him tomorrow because he doesn't seem to be taking my apologies seriously, and I have no idea how to express to him that it would not happen again. I know a lot of people criticize me about my drinking habit, but after going through the replies, there were barely any people who actually went ahead and told me how to approach my husband, which I'm still confused about. Edit number 1. Yes, The main reason he told me he was angry with me was because I was drunk and he believes me I didn't cheat. Edit number 2. I also only had 2 shots in the party, as the alcohol was too hard on me, more concentrated in the drink, it caused me to black out. Edit number 3. No, I had 2 shots, my bad. It's around 150 to 175 milliliters. Just checked. Update number 2. 4 days after the last update. He came by yesterday in the afternoon. By this time I had already left my daughter with my sister-in-law because he wanted a one-to-one talk between us. He cooked lunch for us and we ate for 5 to 10 minutes quietly. He didn't look like he was going to talk first, so I went ahead showing him that I had been to therapist. I went to a therapist the day before yesterday, told him I won't drink anymore ever. Not even once a year. I also showed him my plan and appointments I had booked in the AA rehabilitation center in our city, told him I would become a better mother and wife for our daughter and for him. There was this awkward silence again for a few moments, and then he told me, "Good," and asked me whether I had removed the friends that had invited me to the party. I told him I didn't. But after this I instantly messaged those friends of mine saying we can't talk anymore, and I blocked them in front of him. He then asked me my thought process that led to me to make the decision to drink there without him. I told him everything about what I had thought. He then got up, went to his car, gave me a paper stating that if I ever drank alcohol again after what had happened, he would get full custody of our daughter if we got a divorce. He then told me to think about it carefully and he would give me time, stated that if I signed it, our relationship would go back to how it was before the drinking incident. I immediately signed. Yes, I do know what I was getting into, and gave him the paper. He also told me to read it out loud, and he recorded it on his phone. After this was done, he told me to give him the divorce papers back, and he threw them in the bin. The atmosphere was much lighter after this, and he told me it is necessary that both of us take a break from this, and he needed time to recover. The break would last around 2 weeks. He went to sister-in-law's house, and then drove back our daughter and left her with me. Later in the night, he called me saying he's going back to Norway with his mum for 2 weeks. He said we should keep in touch on text and I should call him if there is any emergency. He's half Norwegian and Spanish. We are still in contact with each other over text. I'm now continuing with my life as I was before, going to work and leaving my daughter at school. Have a health checkup today at 3 p.m. because people mentioned it's not normal for me to get drunk that easily, so I'm just checking for precaution if there is anything wrong in my body. Note: people were going gaga over my lesbian comment and stuff, so I'm here to correct it. First of all, whether anyone likes it or not, 13 years ago the only places me and my girlfriend used to hang out of college was in bars. Yes, I was stupid. People think I was stating my opinion, but no. I was simply stating what had happened in the past. Second thing, wrong wording. Thanks to the person in the reply for correcting me. I was not gay, but in a gay relationship. So, there you go. Third thing, I understand I was at fault, and no, I wasn't trying to blame my ex. I was simply saying I was exposed to it because I was a stupid teen, so I got carried away and got the addiction.